it's Loa from Activ8 Education and Training and Activ8 Corporate Relations. Thank you for tuning in today, where I am going to be interviewing a fantastic Indigenous entrepreneur by the name of Paul Natrall, otherwise known as Mr. Bannock. I met Paul a couple years ago when I was teaching a marketing workshop at the Squamish Nation, and he has had such an incredibly explosive growth in the last couple years. I thought it would be great to get him onto the show where we interview and find out what's going on in the space, the entrepreneurial space for Indigenous businesses. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Paul Natrall, otherwise known as Mr. Bannock.
Paul has started an Indigenous cuisine company where he's got both a food truck that has been very successful, that many people have been able to find and sample his tasty dishes all over the North Vancouver area for the food truck. Is that correct?
Yep.
And then he's also got a catering business, which has been super uber successful. And he has been serving the Lower Mainland, mostly corporations in the Lower Mainland. So Paul, your business has been a huge success. I remember when you took the courses and we met a couple years ago through the marketing workshops that I teach at the Squamish Nation. And it's such a pleasure having you in the courses, and seeing what you've done with your business from then until now has just been mind-blowing. So can you tell us a little bit about what made you go into business for yourself, and you become a bit of a celebrity chef as well?
Yeah, well, like I knew I always loved cooking, right? And just sharing food with like anybody that's interested. But growing up, like my grandmother cooked a lot, and we always had a house full of people. But in 2009, 2010, I seen this Indigenous culinary program at Vancouver Community College.
Yeah.
And it just really narrowed down like the path that I wanted to go, right?
Excellent.
Like I missed the very first year it started, but I applied the second year and I got in. And just from there, like I've been showcasing like Indigenous food culture, like through like all the social media platforms, but mainly around the Lower Mainland here in BC.
Yeah, and you've really been, you've really created quite a niche, because there's not really a lot of Indigenous cuisine that's served. I mean, there's I think Salmon and Bannock up on Broadway offer Indigenous cuisine, but I don't know of very many other restaurants or even catering companies or food trucks that are doing what you're doing. So
Yeah, it was huge for the city last year, and just like the Squamish Nation, right, to have Vancouver's first Indigenous food truck. And I can't believe nobody has done it, but I'm so happy it was me.
absolutely. And you certainly have the personality for it, because I know that you're definitely a go-getter and you're very personable. So I know that you've done a bunch of media interviews over the course of the last couple of years as well. That's probably too helped more people in our region to know that Indigenous cuisine is delicious. And it's brought a lot more interest as well to that particular type of cuisine.
Yeah, for sure. Just like showcasing. Last year was just more of an introduction to like powwow street food, right? So a lot of different kind of Indian tacos and the exotic meat like venison and bison, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, I guess my sophomore year, like I can showcase a lot more stuff. And I brought my good friend Richard James in, and like he's been cooking longer than me, but he specializes in Indigenous food too, right?
Excellent.
So together, like 1-2 punch, we can showcase a lot more like traditional ingredients and cooking methods for the Lower Mainland, and hopefully I want to, not hopefully, but I am going to promote it like through all the social media, not just to the Lower Mainland, but anybody who's a fan and has any kind of social media, right?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Just
really...
just showcasing like the traditional cooking methods, like stone baking, clay baking, smoking.
Wow.
And then all kinds of like we can do seafood. Like we're here right on the West Coast waters, right?
Yeah.
So there's tons of fresh local ingredients that we'll be showcasing in 2019.
Amazing. And I mean, Indigenous food on its own, just from the cultural authentic Indigenous food is delicious, but you put your own spin on it as well, being that you're kind of infusing some of your own style, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of
Well,
that I've seen are just look, whoa, so yummy.
yeah. Well, just growing up, like my uncle was a hunter, and he would go hunting with my cousins and uncle from the interior when I was younger, right?
Yeah.
So he would bring home all this fresh, like now we call it exotic meats, but
Totally.
traditionally, like we used to have that on a daily basis, right?
Wow.
And now as a professional chef and cook, we're doing like I'm paying like a good money for having this exotic stuff, but it was like really traditional.
Wow. And it's
But it's just awesome to be able to share and showcase like modern stuff with it, right?
absolutely. And that's your food truck has been, are you offering like all of the types of foods that you create through your food truck, or do you have certain foods through your food truck and then certain foods that you deliver through your catering business?
Yeah, we have like a menu for the food truck, and it hits a lot of the different points that we want to showcase, like traditional ingredients and cooking methods from the food truck. And
Excellent.
then we have a different menu like just for catering, but you can also get stuff from the food truck as well.
Oh, wow. And I bet that you have a lot of fans now from both on the consumer side, from people visiting the food truck, as well as your corporate clients that typically hire you
Yeah.
for catering, right?
Yeah, well, like before I started my food truck, like I took a lot of marketing courses with you
Thank
and
you.
your company, right? And that helps like broaden the vision and really narrow down like the markets that I'm hitting right now, right?
Oh, Paul, that's so awesome. Thank you. You have no idea. It
Yeah,
feels I really feel proud to be able to have had be
yeah,
able to help you along your entrepreneurial journey. That's why I love doing what
yeah,
I do, because then I get to see you, and all of the amazing things that you're doing, and that will inspire others as well.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like those, like it was fun to get to know you, but also to see other Indigenous entrepreneurs, and like we got to pool together and like just you shared your knowledge with us to help grow our business and like throw back ideas back and forth on whether it was the financials or social media, right?
Yeah,
It
and
was fun, and like there's no wrong idea. You just gotta put it down and execute, right?
absolutely. And you sure are a testament to that. I mean, you basically learned a few new skills, and now you are killing it out there in social media land.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah. It's what
that,
this year, like through our social media, like before I got my food truck and before I took those classes with you and like down the Squamish Nation territory there, right? Just in my backyard. My social media fan base was probably, it took a while to get to like 500, right?
right.
But since like right after those marketing classes, it jumped up to 1,000. And
Wow.
now we're getting close to 2,000 like followers on our platforms, right?
That's amazing. That's
And yeah, just like I got some new tools like for like our food photography and like just
that's
showcase our food, right?
absolutely.
But
And that's certainly what's going to help, and also help people. You're really good too at showing who's behind the business, at showing,
yeah,
because you do videos in the kitchen, and you show the food being prepared, and you show pictures of yourself and the people you work with and your family, and so it's really nice
Yeah.
because people can get a sense for who's the chef behind behind all this incredible food.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
And like I just tell my team, right, whoever's on, whether they're part time or
right.
like like my right hand man, right? I was like, there's no wrong ideas. Like we can try it, and if it doesn't work, then you can always modify it, right? But
Absolutely.
for our new menu, there's like so much different testing and like trial and error, right?
Absolutely. That's all part of growing a business. And, the
Yeah,
growth has been so incredibly impressive, being that you've only been in business a couple of years, essentially.
yeah,
And you've got how many people on your team now? I know you have like your sous chef and
yeah. Well, in the peak season, like we had up to 8 people on, right? And that's during the summertime. And it was like in the summer, it's pretty long hours. Like we get up to like 14 hours a day, right?
wow.
Yeah. And it's super busy because we had people at the commissary kitchen, then we had people in the food truck, and then people doing deliveries, right? And just to coordinate like a few different groups at once, it's a challenge, but
I
it's
can
it's
imagine.
fun, right? I like what I do, and like I have the right team members on, so it's not really work. It's
It's a
pretty fun,
passion
and
project for you, isn't it?
yeah,
So
yeah.
what made you decide to do this for yourself, Paul, and to start your own business versus working under someone else?
Before I started, like I originally started just my catering company, right?
Right. Yeah.
And like there's a lot of different companies and a lot of indigenous cooks that are out there,
Mhm.
but like before I did my business, I was cooking Greek, I was cooking Italian and Chinese food, right? But there was no place where I can showcase indigenous food, right?
Right.
And I was very lucky, like at CapU, I was a night shift supervisor there, and I did a lot of the nightly specials. So I got to showcase and play around with all these different cuisines that I learned, like just being a cook in the industry, right?
Right on. So that's kind of where
But like just now I get to incorporate that stuff with indigenous food, right? And just having fun,
oh,
playing with food and just trial and error.
absolutely. And running a
Yeah,
business is, I think some people think that it's not nearly impossible to do, but if you're really passionate about something that you love and
yeah,
and you're able to find a market for it, it's not impossible to run your own business, is it? Like
hmm,
how, what was it? It's not easy though. I don't want to say it's easy because it does take some gumption. You have to be able
yeah,
to get out there and sell your products or services and be able
yeah,
to do it, get up and do a gazillion things in a day, because it is like
yeah,
wearing multiple hats, right? You're not just doing the one job. You're the salesperson, you're the marketing
yeah,
person, actually making the food, you're the
yeah,
accountant, like you're doing everything. So
yeah. Just
what would
all in one, right?
yeah,
And
exactly. So what would be your one of the biggest things that you've learned in running your own business?
the thing I learned, I would say probably to I'll stress on time management, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like in the summertime, like it was like smoking busy, like with a food truck or with catering.
Right.
And if you're not on the ball with like quotes and
Follow
invoicing and then cooking, like if it's not all lined up, then like I'm sending all this food out and yada yada yada, like food and labor,
yeah.
like all my money goes out at once, but nothing's coming in, right?
Right, because you have to wait to get
Yeah,
paid and what have you. It's managing
yeah,
the cash flow too, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Just like keeping afloat and
Yeah,
like trying to put some aside like for when it's really busy, right?
absolutely.
I'd say like in the summertime, some nights we had like three different caterings and the food truck was out, right? So it was like really busy. Like
Holy Nelly.
anytime, I'd say the most like for my food cost probably was like 3 grand, and that
Wow.
was just for one event, right?
Holy,
But on top of that, like I had like maybe like I was saying 3 other events at once, right? So like just the cost on the food was pretty high. That
yeah.
didn't include the labor and whatnot, right?
So you have to
So
be
just
able to really manage your costs, and it also is taking a little bit of risk as well, right? Because you have to,
yeah,
in many cases, and I have to do the same sometimes, you have to
yeah,
outlay um, for your business and invest in your own business before you get it
yeah,
back. So you have
yeah,
to,
for sure.
right? You have to be able to manage it all, as well as take a little bit of risk, because if you're not willing to take some risk, it's really hard to be an entrepreneur. But if you
Yeah,
believe in yourself, right, and you
yeah,
know that you're going to make it happen and you're going to be able to manage it, then
mhm.
all's good.
Yeah. Like I was just saying, like just make sure you're like time friendly. Make sure you have everything going out, but you just really develop a product and execute it
Yeah,
right to the dot, right? If you don't, then there could be like big failures,
yeah.
and nobody wants to go in and do that, right?
Absolutely. So
Yeah,
what kind of advice would you give other people just starting up? Like, I know when you first started, you had to overcome some challenges in actually obtaining your food truck when you were
yeah,
starting that part of your business. And
yeah,
there are always going to be challenges in life. So it's how we manage those challenges is what I've
yeah,
found as an entrepreneur. So what was
yeah,
your experience in, overcoming obstacles and getting the resources that you needed?
yeah. I would say just always remember the end goal, right? Because anytime you're doing any like when you're going to be an entrepreneur and you're in the first starting of planning and securing funds and whatnot, right? It's not going to be a smooth road. Like there's definitely going to be speed bumps, right? Just sit back for a minute and say, hey, like this is just a little rough patch. Like once you get through it, and like just remember that end goal, right? Because
Absolutely.
definitely there was sometimes like when I first started, like I got my loan and
Yeah. Who
like
did you
everything
belong
was good, but I got the food truck loan from Van City,
to? Density.
and
Okay.
then yeah, and then I went through the Squamish Nation Trust to get my commissary kitchen.
Excellent.
So there was a couple different factors that I went through to get where I am, right?
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
even though there were some challenges, I think you always knew that you'd figure it out, right? Whatever
yeah,
the
for
challenge is,
sure.
you'll figure it out and you'll make it happen.
Yeah, and like just if there's definitely some doubts or challenges, just like reach out. Like always have a mentor or a coach around, right?
Very good.
And just spit back and forth like ideas and whatnot, right?
Yes.
Or find somebody that that's in the same profession, and
Yeah.
if they have like knowledge that they can share, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, my food truck, like it's not a brand new food truck at all. Like it's a 1980, so it is older, and
It
it
looks
broke
great.
down. Yeah, it runs good now, but getting it to where it is, like it broke down like a handful of times, and just having to figure out and fix stuff on my own too, right?
Sure. Yeah,
Like when you're
absolutely. And
when you're first starting up, like you're not gonna have a huge pocket of funds to dispense, right?
tell me about it. I think I lived on my credit cards for the first couple of years in business.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
you gotta fund yourself. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, yeah. well,
True.
all the hard work that you do, right? Is in the end, it's your plan, it's your vision,
Totally.
and it's up to you to execute it, right?
Absolutely, it is. Paul, you've just, you're a true inspiration as an entrepreneur, and it's really a pleasure to be able to, try Indigenous cuisine where before, unless you were within the community, you wouldn't have that opportunity, and now we all do. So thank you for introducing it and bringing it to, the larger community. And
Yeah,
I'm super excited to see where you go next with your business.
yeah, for sure. Taking one step at a time, but just making sure every step is worth it, right?
Oh, absolutely,
Uh,
for
the
sure.
whole picture is not going to happen overnight, so I don't mind just taking my time because you
Good.
can't rush quality.
Ah, isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth?
Yeah,
And whatever you're doing it right, because you're you're sure experiencing some pretty amazing things in your business.
yeah, thank you.
Well,
It
thank you.
was like,
Sorry.
yeah, you guys helped me get there.
Oh, thank you.
So
Oh, that
thank
really means
you.
a lot to me. That means
Yeah. So thanks for your advice and the knowledge that you shared too,
oh,
right?
it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
I love being able to help other new entrepreneurs to do what they love and be able to make a business out of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey and
Yeah, for sure.
for sharing your experiences with us today. I know, I mean, you're just such a wonderful person to speak with, and you've got all of these experiences now that others can also learn from, and hopefully it inspires
Yeah.
other Indigenous people with incredible talent to start their own businesses as well. We,
Yeah. Well, everybody starts somewhere, right?
yeah,
Like
for
if
sure.
you asked me when I was like a teenager, like I would I didn't think there would be Mr. Bannock.
Really.
I just knew there was like I'd be a cook, but I never thought until I was a little wiser, I guess, that
Yes.
I wanted to do my own thing, right?
Love it. I love it. So where can people find you now, Paul? Your food truck.
Yeah, you can have us go into your wherever your office or anything, right?
Okay,
Like
nice.
you can have a private party and we can do custom menus, or you can check out our website for the menu that we offer everybody right now.
Okay, excellent. And then
Yeah.
as well, you're playing or you're going to be at multiple events around the city, right? So people
The
can.
next big one we'll be at is Hobier,
Okay.
and that's February 2nd and 3rd.
Okay.
And I think at the end of next weekend, I think
Mhm.
there's a event down St. Paul's Church down Mission Reserve,
Right. Okay.
and we'll be there too.
Cool. Okay. Excellent. Well, good to know.
I'd say just check out our social media. We'll
And
definitely
for the
have it up on there.
okay, good idea. Wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul, I know you have to go pick up your kids, so
Yeah.
I'll let you run. But thank you so much for sharing all your experiences with us today, and I hope
Yeah.
you have a great weekend. And
Yeah, for sure. TGIF, right?
yeah, woo! And everybody who's watching, if you want to find Paul, you can find him at mrbannock.com. Correct, Paul?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, great. Well,
All
thank
right.
you, Paul, and thank you
I'm
everybody for
gonna
watching. We'll see you again
I'm
soon.
gonna get a coffee before I go, and then I'm off.
I think I'm gonna get one myself too.
All right. Thanks for your
Okay,
time.
thanks, Paul. Bye.
Okay, have a good day.
You too. Bye,
See
everyone.
ya.
Bye. Thanks for watching today and tuning in to the show Entrepreneurial Insights. I hope that you were able to gain some inspiration today from Paul's story. I know I sure was. Please feel free to leave any comments below. And also, if you are an Indigenous entrepreneur and would be interested in being on the show and being interviewed, I would love to hear from you. And do just private message me, or again, you can leave some comments below. Okay, thanks and have a great day.